Hello everyone, welcome to episode 44 on how to make a GTA 5 style game in Unity 3D. Today we're going to continue on with the vehicle damage, and sorry if I sound a bit nasally, I have a cold. Anyway, so first we need to open up the base vehicle, and in the death method we're going to get rid of the destroy game object thing, and then what we're going to replace it with is rigid body add explosion force, and now we need to think of a force for the explosion, so say 30. Explosion position will be just transformed position, and explosion radius will be 6. So now when we go into the game and crash in with our car, we'll do the helicopter and jet in a minute. Crash in our car, get in, and we crash. Okay, that was the most pathetic explosion. Let's change that then. Change the force to 300. See what that does. Boop. No. Still does nothing. Okay. Right. So what we're actually going to do, instead of a set value, we're going to just go rigid body dot mass. Okay, mass times 10. There you go. And for some reason I have dashes there now. Right, so now if we crash our car, at a good decent speed into this building, there we go, it's actually a decent amount of force. Cool. So now what we're gonna do is have it so the speed time scale goes down when it explodes, like it does in GTA 5. So in update, what we need to do, actually that's a lie. First of all, we need to go public bool is alive equals true, because it needs to be true by default. True. And in start, let's just set is alive to true. So that way on start it just gets to be alive. Yes. And then at the bottom of death, under add explosion force, we just want to go is alive equals false. So this way in update we can check whether it is alive or not. If is alive, and if so, actually no, if not is alive, an exclamation mark, we need to go time dot time scale rather, time dot time scale equals mathf.lerp. This is just an interpolation from one value to another. From will be time dot time scale, and to will be 0.1f. You need to do f, otherwise it will error out thinking it's a double, not a float. And time, I don't know, 5 times time dot delta time. Time dot delta time just makes it more smooth. The 5 might be a bit too low or whatever for your liking, you can change it yourself. So now if we go ahead and crash, it will not slowly become 0. Amazing. Right, any errors? No. Well, yes, it's alive, but whatever. If not, it's alive. Why is that not getting called? Right. Right, the reason it wasn't lerping was because we have a conflict here in Game Manager and in GUI Manager. So that means we can't do that basically, which is good. What's basically called there? Let's get rid of that. We might as well keep the is alive thing though. So now, what are we doing? What are we doing? We are going to Let's decide. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we are going to do the jets and helicopters now. So the values are basically going to be the same and things. So max health obviously 100, current health 0, damage, speed damage threshold we can take up a bit, so 10, instant death speed, leave that at 150, why not? Death effect obviously we need to set as the explosion. So explosion. So now we'll run. If I get in my helicopter, and it is also raining, which is pretty cool. So get in, take it off. We will do audio for the vehicles later on, by the way. This is very slow. I don't know why. Okay, let's crash into here. Explosions, nothing, because it didn't take enough damage. Didn't take any damage apparently. Okay, that's good. Again, no damage. Right, so it's a 2 then. There you go, it's actually taking damage now. It's just a matter of playing around with the values, I suppose. So we just smash into the ground. Okay, that was buggy. Oh, 38 health. Yeah, this is so successful. There we go, explosion, dead helicopter. Amazing. Right. So, now that that happens, the jet obviously we need to do the values for as well, but let's just, yeah, it's kind of easy, you can just play around with it yourself. Right. So, what we need to do is like death effects, so the tail would like fall off, say, or that would go flying off into the distance or something. So what we're going to do is add a rigid body to the front rotor holder, set it to kinematic, is kinematic equals to true, use gravity true obviously, drag, leave that as it is, mass, I don't know, 20. The back rotor and back rotor holder both need rigid bodies, but is kinematic for both of them as well, set it for the same thing I suppose, 20 and 20 here is kinematic. So as these are all is kinematic, that means they won't move basically. Yeah. So now we need to open up the helicopter script and create 3 new variables of type rigid body rotor, rigid body, public rigid body, tail, rotor, rigid body, public rigid body, tail, rigid body, holder. There we go. Just close down Steam quickly. Okay, so now we just need to assign them. Rotor rigid body, tail rigid body, and tail rotor rigid body. Cool. So now we need to do an override for the die function. So what we need to do in base vehicle is where we have death, we need to go public virtual void, and this allows us to override it in the classes that derive from base vehicle. So now if we go in helicopter, go to the bottom and go public override, and then we've got death straight away. Just do that and leave base.death in there, we need that. And what we need to do is go what's it, what, I don't remember what the variables were called. Hold on. There you go. Rotor rigid body is kinematic equals false. Actually, do it before base.death is called, so that way the explosion will be called on them as well. And then obviously we need the tail rotor rigid body is kinematic equals false, and tail, the last one, tail rotor rigid body is kinematic equals false. Voila, there we go. So I'll just bring down the speed damage threshold to like 1, 21, 1, so that way you can just see it nice and quickly. Sue it, yeah, sure. Oh, it exploded already. Amazing. Right. Back to 2 then. Oh, it just drives off. What? 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 Okay. What? Right. Not really sure what to make of that. Maybe it's the rigid bodies on it. Let me check with you. Okay, so we're gonna have to change that. Not do it that way. We're gonna have to do prefabs here. So like a dead rigid body prefab, a dead helicopter prefab rather. So what we can do, let's just duplicate it for now and name it dead underscore helicopter. We can get rid of the helicopter script, and then we need to go through and keep the rigid bodies on there basically, and in the original one get rid of the rigid bodies. Boop. And then apply the helicopter prefab, and then we can drag into prefabs, wherever that is there, we can drag the dead helicopter into there. Cool. So now we can do this in base vehicle, because we might as well do this for the rest of them as well. Base vehicle, we're going to go public game objects dead vehicle, I suppose we'll do dead vehicle, and then in the dead method above, yeah, under where we instantiate the explosion, if dead vehicle does not equal null, so if it's been set, and then we just do the instantiate thing. Instantiate dead, dead vehicle at transform.position and quaternion.identity. Yes, actually no, we need to, not quaternion.identity, we want to do transform.rotation. Rotation. Like that. There we go. So actually that's a bad idea. Right, one last thing we need to do, we need to make sure none of the colliders are inside of other colliders basically. So here we have that, we need to lift it off a bit. We can scale this down, oops, scale it down and move it out like that, and then just apply again. Boop. Cool. Oh, and we also need to make sure it is not tagged as vehicle, just leave it as untagged as well. So now run over to it about 1 billion years later, and we fly. Let me just select it quickly, wherever it is, there. Splat. Okay. bring the health down. Like that. Bring it down, it doesn't seem to be changing anymore. There we go. Okay, never mind. Why isn't it changing? Please change. There you go. There we go. And then it does nothing. Because we didn't assign it. That was a massive waste of time, for God's sake. Okay, I'll set the speed damage threshold to 1. And yeah. And then I'll run over to it and do it all again. Forgot to assign it. For God's sake. God damn it. Right, okay. So, let's go again. Up we go. And then we just take all the damages. Sorry about that sound, that's the wire, and that's wire. Oh, what? 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 Okay, it seems to have instantiated it about 1,000 times. Why has it done that? Hold on, that is why you need to save. Okay, reason is, if I just open up base vehicle again, what we can do is open it first. At the top, we can create a private variable. So just game object. Oh, game object. Last dead vehicle. And what we need to do is go within the if dead vehicle does not equal null. We need to go if last dead vehicle does not. No, yeah, no, is equal to null, rather. Is equal to null. Then instantiate it. But what we also need to do is set dead vehicle as the instantiated object. So just last dead vehicle equals instantiate, blah, blah, blah. And then as, at the end, game object. Because it instantiates it and returns an object. And we just need to convert it to a game object. Simple. So hopefully now it won't instantiate it a billion times. Make sure everything in your dead helicopter is gravity enabled and not is kinetic, because I'm an idiot and didn't do that. So, third time lucky. Set it to 1 nice and quickly. There you go. But the reason the last one didn't get destroyed is because we need to put destroy game object in, and that'll fix it all. So that is the helicopter done. Next week we will do the car and the jet. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. You can do that in your own time as well if you want. It's not the most difficult thing to set up, but I thought I might as well do a video on it anyway. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Sorry about the problems, but yeah, thank you very much for watching, and bye-bye.